Hey guys, I'm Dave and it's a BB-8 video update. I'm in my living room at the moment because my office is, well, it's late, don't want to be going to my office, and under the stairs where I usually do my BB-8 videos, it's a little bit messy at the moment because we're at like a bit of a critical stage of the build. But anyway, there is quite a bit to update you on because I've been a busy boy. So last video you saw the head, it was mostly done, now it is done when it comes to aesthetics. So it's all coloured in. He's got his eye, he's got his little eye just here, and I've done all like these little LED ports and stuff as well. So they're all done. Aerial, both aerials, everything done, even like this flashing and all that sort of stuff. So the only thing left to do with the head now is, excuse me, is electronics. So let's put the head down, out of the way. And I have got a box of goodies here, and this is full of all the electronics that I need. I'm going Arduino based, so we've got these little things. This is called an XB, and that's basically a module that will let me communicate with the head and the body wirelessly. So we've got a couple of XBs, and we've got like, what have we got here? Oh, that's the XB adapter kit. And it's all in pieces as well, so that's why they're still inside the packets, because I've got to solder it all together. Oh, what else we've got? We've got switches, LEDs, little toggles and all that sort of stuff, so this is going to be all cool. A 3D printed remote control. So, this is the back of it, and it'll go something like that. And we've got a little PlayStation style sort of toggle on there, and the little switches will go on the back, and there's some on the side, so I'll be able to puppeteer BB-8 a little bit so that he'll, like I can roll him up to somebody like this, press a button on the side, and he'll kind of talk to the person, which is what the other controller's on the back. So big thumbstick for moving the actual body around, a little thumbstick on the back of the controller for independently controlling his head, and then buttons on the side so that I can make him do stuff like on cue, you know, which would be cool. God, we've got all sorts. So we've got switches, little tack switches, a FIDI friend. So if you know Arduino, you probably know some of this. We've got a little amp. I can take this out of the packet actually. We've got a little amp so that I can control the volume of the noise and stuff of BB-8's voice. Obviously, if I'm taking this thing to shows and stuff, shows are going to be pretty loud. I'm going to need to be able to, you know, crank it up a little bit, which is good. So we've got all that in there. That's going to be fun, because it's been years and years since I've done any kind of electronics, actual soldering stuff and all that sort of thing. So that's going to be good. All right, so that's lighting and voicing and being able to control it. So I'm doing all of that now with the controller and the head so that I don't have to worry about it later on, because I've made a start on the body. Look at the size of this. So as you can see, I'll do it this way. So as you can see, there's like an inner frame here. If you look inside, there you go, there's an inner frame, an inner sphere, which is all bolted together and printed in all these different parts. And then we've got these braces across these bits. And then the outer panels, which are on here, these are unfinished, that's why it's got like a line down it and stuff. There's an example for you. So these are the panels that go on the side, and then obviously you've got big round ones that will eventually go here. So, if you imagine how big this is going to be. There's the body. BB-8's head will go there like that. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. There we go. Pretty exciting, the stage that we're at right now, because obviously head's nearly virtually done, just the electronics. Body's like, ooh, I'd say about 55%. I do have some issues with it. In fact, I can show you some of the issues that I have here. So it's not perfectly round, so we've got a big split here which I need to sort out, and this panel's slightly off. It's not quite lined up with this one, whereas for example this side here is perfect. So it's nicely lined up. There's no gap other than the gap that should be there. But then, for example, around here, this one's lined up, but there's too big of a gap. So that's because the inner sphere is not quite right. So to fix that, I've got to take it all apart, which took a long time. Take it all to pieces, and underneath this joint is like the main joint of the inner sphere. You can just about make it out like here, where this yellow one connects to this green one. There's a joint, obviously. So what I need to do is shave those joints down ever so slightly, all over the ball, just to bring it in by a few millimeters. It's like I've got to be really careful on how I do it, and then it should be okay. But then after that's all done, that's like a, you know, I need to spend a couple of days on doing that. I'm sure it'll be fine. But the really exciting stuff is here. So this is part of the drive system, which is going to make BB-8 work. So I'll give you an example on how this goes. So it's going to be like this. Whoops, try not to drop it because it's not all bolted together yet. And then there's this. So I had this cut by a company here in the UK. It's made out of aluminium, or aluminum for you Americans. And this is what everything's going to mount onto when it comes to the motors and the servos and all that sort of stuff. So this will sit eventually inside here like that. Something like that. There we go. And what will happen is the controller will be able to move this like so, and like that, and of course all the way around. And on the top of here will be a servo that will hold the magnets, which will have the head on top. So this servo will do the rotational stuff, and then I'll give you a better idea of how this body works. There we go. So there's a pivot block right here, which I've 3D printed. It's 100% infill, so it's a solid plastic block. And there's going to be an axle that goes right through there, like so. So you can imagine this is like that. The axle will be bolted onto this round thing, and on these square bits on the ends will be motors. So on either end of that will be a motor that's actually attached to the ball. So this is freestanding inside. The only part of this whole construction that touches the ball will be the motors on either end. So you can imagine this will essentially never move. It will always be in this orientation inside the ball, okay? And this is in the middle, like so, like that. So we'll take that out of the way. And then when I've got control from this pivot, it will do this, if I tell it to, and this section will go like this. So if I turn it that way, it will go like this, like that. And this back plate will also not move. So that will always be like that. And all the controls and like servos and battery and everything's all at the bottom, all on this section. And there's nothing at the top except one servo and the magnets. And that's because we want all the weight to be at the bottom so that it all works properly. It doesn't spin and tip over and you lose your head and all that sort of stuff. So eventually there'll be, see this hole? There'll be like a pin that comes down here with a big weight on the bottom. Obviously the battery will be connected inside here, so the battery's going to hold it down. There's going to be an extra piece that goes on here like so, and that'll have a servo in it. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much how all of that works. So yeah, we're really starting to get somewhere now. My next job is going to be to do all of this electronics in here, because like I said at the beginning of the project, I want to get the head completely done, 100% finished. So all the paintwork's done, all the little details are done. It's just all electronics now to be done on the head, so that's great. It's all here in this box. But obviously, to try and make life easy for myself, I'm going to completely do this remote control. The remote control will control the head and everything that connects to this thing. So I'll be safe to do this now because it's all in Arduino code, everything that controls everything, so that when this is completed, I will be able to get the head to do the lighting and torque and stuff like that. It's just it won't have any motors in there to make it move or anything. That's going to be all inside the body. So the head will be 100% done, and I will be able to show you some stuff with the lights and it talking and the buttons working on the remote and stuff. And then that's all done. I can stop worrying about it. I've got the remote, I've got the control. I don't have to worry about that anymore, which is great. I can just totally concentrate on finishing the ball off. So in order, it's going to be the remote, the electronics inside of the head, which are particularly fairly simple. I've just got to, you know, like I say, all these things are in parts, so I need to solder these together and, you know, make sure I've done that correct, because I've not done that sort of stuff in many years. So that's going to be fun. And then when that's completely done, I will figure out what's going on with my misshapen ball. So it's almost there, it's almost perfect, because like I say, I've got some parts that are correct. It's just that, like, parts like this one here, there's a bit of a gap, so I need to fix those gaps, and I know what it is. I can see the problems when I'm a bit rough with it, and some parts have broke. Like I've not just broke that, I already broke it a while back. Some parts like this here, I've got a gap. Now if I close that gap up, it will get rid of some of this gap here, so I know where my errors are. And like I say, you heard that crunch then. It's because they're a little bit fiddly. So like these parts here, you see these here, I've broken quite a few of those just because I'm being a little bit too rough with the ball. So I need to repair some of them, maybe even reprint a couple of parts, but then it'll be all good. So quite a bit more printing to go. Obviously I've got the round panels to do, and we'll see how the fixing of the ball goes, because who knows, I might need to reprint a whole bunch of stuff. There are different options I could go for, but obviously I'm committed to this now, so I kind of want to get this ball correct. And then obviously the drive system. So the drive system is going to be probably one of the last things I do. I'm going to start buying the parts for it. Obviously with the cost being so much, I can only get a few bits at a time. So like, you know, this box of electronics is just for the head and was about 150 quid. So I can't afford to then go and get all the servos and motors and things when I've just spent that kind of money. It's Christmas this month, so, you know, trying to not spend as much. But of course, you know, some Patreon people are helping out with this project as well. I don't have a great deal of patrons, but those of you who do help, it helps. You know, I do get to buy some stuff like paints and things like that, or it gets added to the cost of like the electronics and stuff. So if you want to become a Patreon and help this project, then do check out the link in the description. There are some different levels and stuff, and I'll reward you with knickknacks that I personally make on my printer and send them to you. A few other bits and things and whatnot that I'm doing. Yes, so, you know, that's pretty much it for now. Obviously, I've got lots to do in the background. I'm just going to go crazy with this electronics over the next few days and try and get that out of the way. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thumbs up if you didn't, thumbs it down if you didn't. You got any questions about this project, then, you know, put them in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out the BB-8 Builders Club if you want to see other people building this same thing but in a different way, because everybody's just choosing different routes. Then go and check that out. And yes, there we go. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.